Welcome back and thank you for joining me. I can't wait to read today's stories to you. The timestamps are in the description box. Let's get to it. Story number 1. Opie writes, If you're looking for a full course meal of crazy, my mother-in-law just ate. Me and my boyfriend have been living at her and father-in-law's house, mostly due to the fact that the house is huge, but also due to convenience. We have been steadily accumulating the resources to buy a really nice house for ourselves. Mother-in-law has done about every just no thing under the sun. Examples of that include going through our stuff and coming in to check how clean the place is. We have an entire floor that's always the cleanest, tidiest part of the house, yet she still finds reason to complain about it. Thinks it's a woman's duty to do household chores for her man. This only applies to me, since she never makes her daughter do anything, and she, herself, uses a cleaning lady that she constantly bosses around. Try to convince me to manipulate boyfriend with every single decision he made that she felt was wrong. Bluntly told me that boyfriend, 30, needs a 19-year-old wife, not a 27-year-old such as myself. Complains about anything I do, especially the gifts I give her. Complains about my healthy cooking, thinks it's pretentious, will refuse to eat anything I make, and tries to bribe boyfriend with a half-ass food when she knows he's trying to stay fit. Is jealous of us being kind to my family, but my family is lovely and really polite. Endlessly complains about how that's not fair, constantly curses and yells, has no idea how to be civil. I could go on, but you get the picture. Anyway, the moment has finally come. We're looking for a house. We've been seeing tons of places for the past week, and I think my boyfriend has a crush on one in particular. It's old, but extremely well done. With the right interior designer, it would turn into such a gem. Boyfriend takes me, a property evaluator, and mother-in-law to see it for the first time. Right before we come in, she starts saying that the building is old and is making her anxious. It's not even that kind of old. It's clean and well kept. We go in and she starts berating the property evaluator, asking whether her conscience is clear, knowing that she's even here with us in this horror house. Tries to talk boyfriend into discontinuing the tour. Then speaking over us when we were trying to ask property evaluator any questions, so that we won't be able to hear her when she speaks. I am mortified at how this person must have felt. We finished the tour faster than we would have liked, because out of sheer second-hand embarrassment, we get back in the car, which is where the show really starts. She starts crying. Asking him how he can be so selfish, how come he can't see what a terrible mistake this is for him, how he won't be able to raise babies there, how much he's changed since I came into his life, because her baby would have never liked this place. Mind you, I didn't even express an opinion about the house at all at that point in time. I didn't even give as much as a nod, as boyfriend was trying to get her to stop as he wasn't having it. Her crying and shouting progressively got worse. Quote, I didn't raise you to make such stupid decisions, unquote, she shouted. Quote, I don't even recognize you anymore, unquote. I tried telling her that we didn't even decide if we were going to go ahead and buy it, but she just kept screaming that I, as a woman, should try and convince him that this is the wrong place for us. I told her, no, I think it will end up looking fine in case we settle on getting it. I didn't think this was possible, but she lost it even more. It went on until we reached home, after which we went straight to our laptops to look for rent. We are moving out next week. It's just not possible to stand this anymore. What's worse is that she thinks all of this was my idea. Little does she know I didn't even see the place beforehand. This was his choice and his alone. I am frankly shocked at how manipulative she really is. I thought she had severe emotional problems until now, but this whole tantrum seems almost theatrical. I get that she might not agree with his choices, but this is just way out of line. I don't know. She's done this before, by the way, a few months back. We were looking for a home, and she convinced me to come along with her so she can buy him a home herself. I let my boyfriend know what was up and agreed to go just to be polite. She ended up screaming at me for having, quote, poor taste, unquote. Although she has zero background in things concerning interior design or any other discipline in the sphere, I am feeling validated now, knowing that her reaction probably had nothing to do with me. I have no idea how this can turn into a peaceful situation, but I'm mostly looking forward to getting the heck out of here. Update. It's settled. We bought the new house. We found a way better deal and are in the process of handling extensive renovations. The project looks nice so far, so we're really excited. To say that we've been keeping mother-in-law on an information diet would be an understatement. Significant other barely even says hi to her anymore, and all the details that she manages to get are from other family members. I'm not really a fan of this. I advise the significant other to at least be polite and act like nothing is wrong, but I can't really do more about that, so it's whatever. I'm 100% sure that she thinks I made him act this way. I do say hi to her and I am open for conversation. I just don't really feel comfortable discussing anything beyond that right now. She probably feels ignored, but it's her own doing after all. She takes out all her stresses on others and spends most days either arguing with other family members or gossiping about me and significant other, trying to get everyone to hate us. Update. Boyfriend is out of town for a few days, but I still spend time at mother-in-law's house. I was getting ready to leave and run some errands when I noticed her following me down the stairs. I entered my room, closed the door, and proceeded to change. I hear the handle clicking and I rush to close it back. I am naked after all. She forces the door open, although it was obvious that I was trying to keep it closed. I asked her to give me 1 minute, but she continues to push back and ask, quote, why? What are you doing? Unquote. I am livid. I push back some more and finally close it down. I then open it when I'm ready and ask her what's up. Sister-in-law intervenes and calls her downstairs in order to avoid some drama, so she leaves. Then she picks a fight with sister-in-law, thinking that me and sister-in-law have been talking behind her back. We have, she agrees with me, but mother-in-law talks behind everyone's back. So I'm not sure why she's so shocked. Sister-in-law comes and tells me mother-in-law is offended because I haven't been sharing what we've been doing with the house since we bought it. That doesn't sit well with me at all. Because firstly, I do not personally owe her any information, and second, she's probably going to freak out over one tiny detail or another anyway. Guys, this is the same woman who berated me over letting my 30-year-old boyfriend wear white pants, quote, during autumn season, unquote. No thanks. I still feel like an a-hole though. OP, congratulations with the new house. I'm sure it's going to turn out beautiful. And as for your mother-in-law, it seems to me this is somebody that wants nothing to change. She wants to stay in control of everything and continue to treat her adult children like little kids and undermining their decisions. And that last thing you said there about how she berated you because your boyfriend, her son, was wearing white pants during autumn. That's the thing about controlling people. They want to control not only the big things but also the little things. And all these things adds up over time and in the end they alienate everybody around them. I don't know, OP, if your mother-in-law is ever going to realize that and ever try to change herself. But I think you and your significant other, you're handling this in the best way you possibly can. And on to story number 2. OP writes, my 26 male fiancé, Sarah, 24 female, and I are set to get married in 3 months. We were visiting a botanical garden yesterday when Sarah pointed out a flower called, quote, Arabian jasmine, unquote, a little white flower with a nice scent. She said that her cousin Stephanie had those at her wedding. I asked if it was the same Stephanie that would be in attendance with her husband at our wedding, and she said it was. Sarah and Stephanie are apparently pretty close, and she started telling me about Stephanie and her husband. At one point, she told me that Stephanie had actually cheated on her husband twice before they got married, and that the second time was a couple of months before the actual wedding. Her husband never found out. I asked her why she never told Stephanie's husband what happened, and she responded by saying that it, quote, wasn't her circus, wasn't her monkeys, unquote. and that it's not that big of a deal anyway, since they weren't married at the time. I've been thinking about what she said ever since. I consider cheating the ultimate worst betrayal in a relationship. Clearly, my fiancé doesn't think so, since she said her cousin cheating, quote, wasn't that big of a deal since they weren't married, unquote. Would this mean that she thinks cheating on me right now wouldn't be that big of a deal since we aren't married yet? As a man, if I got cheated on by my partner, I hope someone who knew about it would tell me. I would heavily judge anyone who knew about it, didn't tell me, let me go on to marry the person that cheated on me, and attended my wedding as if nothing was wrong, like my fiancé did to her cousin's husband. A couple of hours ago, I texted my fiancé, quote, I'm not sure if I can go forward with getting married. Let's talk in person later tonight, unquote. She's been blowing up my phone with texts and missed calls ever since. I'm just going to tell her what I've said in this post when I see her. Update. I had a conversation with my fiancée, Sarah. We've decided to think things over on our own for a couple of weeks and deciding what we'll do next. If we do get married, we'll probably end up postponing the wedding. I found out from Sarah that her cousin Stephanie's husband, Lars, is an attending musculoskeletal radiologist at a local hospital. I texted Lars over the weekend, introduced myself as Sarah's fiancé, and asked if I could have a conversation with him on phone. We called a couple of times between Monday and yesterday. I told him that I wasn't telling him what to do, and that I did not have any receipts, but that I just felt an obligation as a human being to inform him of something that I felt he should know. I told what Sarah told me about his now wife cheating 2 months before his wedding and the name of who she did it with. When he found out, Lars went quiet for a little while and said he was, quote, shocked and devastated, unquote. It turns out that who Stephanie cheated with is a co-worker of hers that Lars had met, and that they've attended work and dinner parties together in the past. Throughout our conversation, he kept asking for details on what happened, where it occurred, why she did it, who else knew, and so forth. I unfortunately didn't have answers to most of his questions, but he still thanked me profusely for telling him what happened when no one else did. Part of why I sympathize with Lars is personal. Lars is originally from Denmark and came here for college after high school. My own Scandinavian father came here from Norway for undergrad and ended up becoming a lawyer here. He married my mom, an American woman, had me and my siblings, and provided us with the best life any husband and father could possibly provide his family. I couldn't imagine Lars doing the same for a woman who cheated on him and kept it a secret for years. I have no regrets. My fiancé, her cousin and their family were the only family that Lars has in the country. I couldn't imagine him coming to this country for opportunity and working hard for 13 years to become a physician, only to marry a disloyal wife and be deceived and betrayed by the very people he thought he could trust. I couldn't imagine living a lie like that for years, no matter how blissful the lie. Lars had a right to make an informed decision as to whether or not he wants to stay in his marriage. If Lars and Stephanie get divorced now, it would be Lars rightfully ending his own marriage based on information he now knows, not me ending it of my own volition. Well, OP, I'm glad that you've postponed the wedding. It will give you and your fiancé the time to figure out if you two really want to spend the rest of your lives together. Because maybe the two of you just don't have the same values. And that's very important, of course, in a marriage. Well, that's it for this edition. Thank you so much for allowing me to share these stories with you. Please give it a thumbs up if you did like it. Consider subscribing, leave a comment, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.